Non-boring Hoya. If you don't like Hoya, this video is for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her, and in this video, I'm hoping to convince anyone that says Hoya are boring that they are not. And if you do like Hoya already, then just enjoy the view of all the beautiful Hoya. Let's start with this beautiful baby. This is my Hoya Gunungading, which is a stunning veiny Hoya that can also get sun stress, which makes the leaves red. If you're new to Hoya, sun stress is when they get so much light that the leaves go a little bit red like here. Sometimes they go bright red or even other colors as well, pink and orange. This plant seems to really like it under the grow light, so it's grown a lot of beautiful just green leaves, which I also really love. But here you can see earlier signs of sun stress. If I were to give this more light, move it closer to the light or put it in bright sun, then it would definitely get that red hue back. There are lots of veiny Hoya that I absolutely love. I'll show you another one in a minute. But why I love this one is it has quite a specific pattern. Any Hoya lover will probably be able to tell right away that this is Hoya Gunungading. By the way, these pics are not in order or anything. I'm just showing you my favorite plants and showing you the differences that Hoya can offer outside of the ones that you find in the garden center. Because look, this is also a Hoya. This is Hoya insularis, which is such a weirdo. The leaves are very thin with one vein in the center and they're basically curled over a little bit. So this one is a little bit tricky with mealybugs. They like to hide in the back, in the crevices of the leaves. Also, sometimes it grows in weird curls, and there's two growth points on this one. So you see, if you can, it wants to focus on it. There's two weirdo little men in the center there with arms going in all different directions. This has been growing quite well. I got this in March. It is now September and it has grown quite a few new leaves. So it's easy to grow and it just looks very different than what you might expect for a Hoya, right? Or is this a typical look for Hoya? Let me know in the comments what you would consider. In my opinion, common Hoya, like the carnosas, for example, that's how people expect Hoya to look. And Hoya obovata, which I also love, by the way, but that's more the typical look. And I'm trying to pick some weirdo looking ones to show you everything that is possible in the world of Hoya. Like this one, if you love silvery leaves, then there are plenty of Hoya for you as well. This is Hoya Nicholsoniae New Guinea Ghost. Some Hoya just have splash, and these silvery ones are basically covered in splash. So that's what makes them so silvery looking. This has plenty of growth points. There's new leaves growing here. I absolutely love this about Hoya and Anthurium. New leaves come in very, very small and then they expand. These are still soft as well. They're still growing until they reach mature size. One of my favorite things about certain plants. Here you can really see the splash. So you see the background of the leaf is actually that dark color, and then the splash is all over to make it appear silver. This used to be very expensive a while ago. I think it's not anymore. It's quite easily available. And it is a very fun one to grow. Also not very tricky in my opinion. It's been growing really well. Then one that's currently a little bit sad for me. This is Hoya Bella. You have Hoya Bella, the normal one, which is awesome. It has beautiful flowers as well. And then I, in this pot, have the two variegated versions. So there is the outer variegated version. This is called Hoya Bella Anneke Buis, named after two sisters that lived actually quite near me, about half an hour away. There was a Hoya grower and it was the family Buis. So they named these two different variegated versions after the two sisters. This actually is budding up, but some of the leaves are looking very dehydrated. Look, this just even came off. After filming that, I checked the roots and they were actually all gone. So I have now restarted it, made new cuttings, dipped them in rooting hormone, and now we're gonna wait for hopefully new roots. I think these buds are gonna blast. Down here we have the inner variegated one. This is called Hoya Bella Lida Buis, after the other sister. This one actually was known as Louis Bois for a long time, which I think came out of people not being able to pronounce Lida Buis, which makes sense, and then also not spell it, so they changed names a little bit. So you may know this as Louis Bois, but now you know the history. I love this one so much, but it is being overcrowded. This all is Anneke, and this little one is Lida. So Lida is being taken over by Anneke. And I potted this one up separately so it has a little bit more space. Some people say that Hoya Bella is very easy to grow. It has to stay a little bit more moist than other Hoya generally, from what I've seen. And for me, it's been really tricky. Like, it does not look very happy. While editing, I'm realizing that this is totally off topic on a little ADHD rant. I'm trying to show you nice Hoya that you should maybe try. Just want to warn you that this might be a tricky one. Dehydrated, also bleached, because I give my Hoya, but also my other plants just generally a little bit maybe too much light. But yeah, the Lida Buis is definitely my favorite part of this pot. Also, I don't know if I'm going to show you all the nice pots, but I have a lot of nice pots I'm very happy with. If you want the details, let me know in the comments. Then let's go back to some veiny leaves again. This is Hoya Callistophila. This is one of the brightest ones. So when I first started Hoya, I really loved the look of this one because the green of the leaves is very light, which makes the veins stand out even more. Many of the Hoya that I also really love, like Finlaysoni, are a little bit more subtle. So today I actually picked the ones that are not so subtle so that you can see the extremes of Hoya, and then once you appreciate them, you'll start to see all the little sparkles and the more small details. I really like this one. Also, I'm very excited because it is budding up. So I think this is going to be the first time it flowers for me. This leaf is actually the same plant, but it's a little bit darker, and then you see less of the veining. So I can imagine if you are more new to Hoya, then this is what you would probably lean to more because it's more outspoken. My neighbors are playing outside. Sorry. One that you probably have seen before, but that needs to be on this list is Hoya linearis. So many little fuzzy bits and bobs. And this one is actually not my longest one. This is a rescue project. These are so cute. So first they grow upwards. They're little fuzzy stalks. Gonna show you the fuzz. I don't know if I can. It's very, very small. Then once they get heavy, you can see it happening here a little bit. They start to hang over. And then they get longer and longer. And when they are long enough, they actually start budding up and creating these beautiful flowers, very light colored, but then smelling like citruses. Very, very awesome. And actually one of my flowers on these lasted 4 weeks. Some Hoya flowers only last 1 day or 1 night, and that's quite disappointing to me. This one lasted so long, I was so impressed. You can see here also the new growth, all different colored and leaning over towards the light. You can wear this as a wig. It's just all soft and fuzzy, except they are very prone to mealybugs, and you can feel it being very sticky from that, so I'm moving this away from my head again. This next Hoya is Hoya bermanica. Actually, on the label it says species Vietnam, and then in brackets bermanica. This is a beautiful leaf shape. I'm actually really into anthurium and aroids, so this leaf shape, I don't know, it reminded me more of them than of the typical Hoya leaf shape, if that makes sense. When I got this cutting, it immediately started to flower. Apparently it's a very quick flowerer. And when I cut it, I propagated it, it's grown so much already. I took a cutting only maybe 2 months ago, and this is all new growth. It's also budding up again there and here. It's super fast, it flowers super fast, and the leaf shape I think is very, very beautiful. It just feels very elegant to me, like a ballerina Hoya, if that makes sense. Definitely recommend Hoya bermanica if you can get your hands on it. Very easy, very fun. This next one is probably in all Hoya lovers' either wish list or home already. This is Hoya clemensiorum. I don't know if I can even show you this whole leaf in the frame. Our neighborhood is very busy today. Why people love this Hoya, I think, is because it looks very prehistoric. This is the nicest leaf right now, I think. Can you see how the veins are not a different color, but they are standing up? See that? So basically it looks dehydrated and like it came from Jurassic Park. And that is why we love it. This is a little bit more subtle of a Hoya, I think, but once you get it, you definitely get it. This is one of my all-time favorite Hoya because it's just so special. And I'm so happy because this leaf, if you see the size, that is pretty big for a Hoya. Normally Hoya leaves are much smaller. Here you can see some more of the previous, the big one once. Screen time. What more of the normal size leaves for Hoya. This one is longer than my hand. Very, very cool. You also can see a lot of aerial roots on this one. It's growing in my little terrarium where the humidity is higher. It seems to love that. It was attached actually to the top of the terrarium, so I had to pull it out, but I think it's worth it to show you like this. Hopefully there will be many new leaves coming soon, because this, yeah, I love this one. Let me know in the comments if you get it, because this one might be, well, I don't know. For some, it's just a instant yes. For others, it's like, I don't know if I get it. And that's okay too. There's no judgment. It's okay if this video doesn't convince you that Hoya are awesome. You can tell me in the comments as well. We have 2 more, but there's actually one that I wanted to show you real quick that I can't get out of this pot because it's in a hanging pot. This is Hoya variegata. I don't know where my full plant went. I thought I had a full plant of this, but apparently I only have this mixed pot with different ones in it. This is such a cute and easy plant. It creates the most adorable little flowers. And when you give it more light, which I haven't done in a while, the new leaves get sun stressed, so they actually turn very, very bright pink. I want that back on this plant because it is so, so cute. I really am curious now where my full pot went. I can't find it on my shelves anymore. I don't know where it went. I'm gonna have to look for it after I make this video, but first we're making this video. So let's do the last few. Okay, I'm focused. We're back. This next one that I wanna show you is Hoya Thomsoni. The leaf shape is a little bit more normal, but it has such hairy leaves. Can you see this? They're so fluffy. It's actually very different from velvet leaves in aroids because they're more like suede soft. These are more hairy, like they're actual hairs standing up. So it's also soft, but yeah, very different vibe. Also because the leaves are actually very solid. If you don't know, Hoya leaves are very succulent, really. So very thick and succulent-y. This Hoya Thomsoni, I don't just love for the leaves, but it also has incredible flowers that I haven't had yet. I think my plants are starting to bud up now, starting to get enough size for them to actually flower. There's a white flowering variety and then there's a pink flowering variety, and I have all of them. But this one was in the easiest pot to show you because I have one in a terrarium. I have one other in a hanging pot here. I absolutely love Thomsoni and I can't wait for them to flower for me. Now I just have to find out how long they last because I hope they last longer than just a few days. You can get these with more or less splash. This one, I would say, is like a bit of splash. I have a very splashy one hanging over there, but splash is not really stable in Hoya from what I've learned. So I wouldn't spend too much money on a extra splashy plant. Okay, the last one. This is my Hoya Meredithy IML 1105, or is it GPS 1105? GPS 1105. When I bought it, it was labeled wrong. That's why it's still a little bit stuck in my head as the wrong thing. These leaves can get so big. They're also really light and veiny, just like the Callistophila before, but much, much bigger. And again, the pattern is very typical. So when a Hoya lover sees this, they immediately know that it's this specific big Meredithy. Some of the other leaves are over here. And then I also wanted to show you, I had this growing in the terrarium, which is not very tall. So I moved it out a few weeks ago because it had stopped growing for a while. Here you can see one of the ends where it stopped growing. Oh, very fluffy puppy. Little baby. Oh, okay. Focus, focus. So I moved it out. I put it on this double bamboo stake. So I have one and then I attached another one all the way up to here. And it started to grow so fast. And then it started to make leaves. So this is a new leaf. I'm trying not to touch it too much because new Hoya leaves, just like new Anthurium leaves, are very, very sensitive. You don't want to mess it up. Look at that. Then here is another new leaf. Oh, and here. And then here we have more leaves. 1, 2, at the top here. There is a new leaf as well. And then we have this whole tendril situation. I'm literally crouching down to the ground to show you. So I can extend this pole again, but actually what I'm gonna do once the leaves have hardened off, then I'm gonna loop the tendrils around and around so that it can grow up again without actually climbing. It's literally climbing out the window as it is right now. So I don't want to interrupt this plant while it's making these beautiful leaves, but once these are hardened off, I'm definitely doing the loopy thing. And also to make it more full, because then this whole thing will be covered in big leaves instead of having big chunks of nothingness in between. What do you think? Have I convinced you yet? If you didn't like Hoya before, I would love to hear which ones appeal to you from this video, if I've convinced you a little bit or maybe not at all. If you do love Hoya, I would love to hear your favorites in the comments below because there's always space on my Hoya wish list. Thank you so much for being here. This video is actually a quickie that I filmed because I can't finish editing the Monstera Care and Tour video yet. That was 1.5 hours of footage and I'm about 6 minutes in, so it's gonna take a little bit more time. That's why this video came to be. Also because some people suggested and requested it. So if you have fun requests for me to film, please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week, hopefully with the Monstera Care video. No promises though. Editing is a lot of work. Thank you so much, friends, and I will see you next week. Bye!